Hello, welcome to our first online card camp. We have missed everybody in the library, and we're hoping that these kits that you were able to get will kind of bridge the gap, and you'll have fun with us today. You should have in your kits pieces to make 2 cards that we're going to be making today. So the first card, you should have a blue piece that we're going to fold in half. We're looking for white matte, a daisy paper, 2 punch daisies, a yellow circle, and then a triangular piece of colored cardstock. So the first thing we're going to do with this card is put adhesive on the back of the triangular piece of cardstock. Then we want to position this triangular piece such that it covers the fold completely, and I'm going to kind of put it at an angle. And once you like where it's positioned, adhere it down, and then we take our scissors, and you're just going to turn your card over and just trim off any extra. And we'll set that aside. So now you have this piece. The next step is to take your daisy cardstock and add a little adhesive to the back of that to adhere to your white mat. Now you can use adhesive from, if you go to the craft aisle in Walmart, they have adhesives, Michael's have adhesives. I like using this Tombow, but there's also, you can use wet glue as well. Once you adhere the daisy piece to the white, then we're going to adhere that white panel to the front of your card. The last step is to add the daisy punches. And here I am going to use a wet glue. And I like to use the Tombow Mono Multi, which I actually got at Michael's. I'm just going to put a little dab in the center of one daisy, and then I'm going to kind of overlap it. Hold it for a second, and then put a little dot again in the center to place the center circle. Last step, you could use either wet, I think I might use wet glue. You can use the wet glue or the dry. And here I'm just going to add little dots of the wet glue to adhere the daisy to the front of the card. So there you have your completed card. Now if you have stamps at home, or if you'd like to borrow stamps from the library, I would use an ink pad and stamp a little greeting here for whatever. This might be birthday, thinking of you, but it's certainly, the card is perfect just the way it is. So that's our first card for our card camp today. I wanted to show you how, rather than using pattern paper, you could borrow one of the stamp sets from the library's collection. The one that I'm using is Watercolor Garden, and we're going to assemble the card similarly. Fold it in half, and remember we added our adhesive to the back. Oh, I need more. A refill. And remember, we wanted to make sure that this fold is covered. I'm going to put the triangular piece however I want it positioned, and use our scissors to trim the excess. this time, instead of using a pattern paper, I am gonna use some of the stamps from Watercolor Garden and stamp. Okay, so what I like about this stamp set is it has a lot of different floral images. And so you can just make a collage. I used the bright pink for that. Then I have this smaller flower. I'm kind of just going to go in the center of those three. Maybe put another one down here. I love that this stamp set has a butterfly, so I thought I would put a butterfly in the corner in a blue and add yellow centers. And then the last thing I'm going to do is kind of fill in with some green leaves. Now the little ink pad that I have is rather dark, so the way that I thought would look nicer is to just stamp off on a piece of scratch paper first. Then when you stamp onto your pattern paper, or when you stamp onto your stamped paper, it's not as dark. And this Watercolor Garden also has this nice vine, which helps to fill in all your empty spaces. So once you're happy with your stamped panel, we're just going to follow the same template that we did for the card in your kit. Now, rather than using the daisy punch, if you don't have a daisy punch, we had a generous donation to the library of these paper flowers. I don't know if they're sold anymore, but very common in the crafting world. So you just pick 2 of these paper flowers and put a brad through the center. And then I'm going to use some wet glue because I really want that to stick. And I'm going to place that in the center of our card. I'm going to have to hold that for a minute or two. So it's nice that you can borrow these stamps from the library. You have to have a few of your own ink pads, and you can make your own pattern paper. The second card I wanted to show you uses these pieces. So you get these pieces out of your kit. We're just going to take our card base, again, fold it in half. And then we're going to use our adhesive to mat these 3 rectangles. Now, in your kit, we can't have stamped images due to copyright. So your kit will not have any stamped image in the corner, but I wanted to show you, using that same Watercolor Garden, you could ink up the saying and stamp that in one of the corners. Then we're just going to add adhesive to all 3 of the rectangles and position them so that they're positioned equally with a nice, the same border, equal border. So I wanted to showcase this card because many of us crafters have lots of scraps. And this is just a really nice way to use your scrap pieces to make a pretty card. So these are the 2 cards we made in today's card camp. Hope you enjoyed them, and you'll join us next month where we're going to do some different masculine and a special fold card.